Okay, so I'm going to show you how to budget all your income. First of all, this budget worksheet must be all perfect. You cannot be in the negative. So if you have anything here that is negative, you have to redo all your budget in order to have the right information on your checks. If you're not there yet, go back, fix everything, and then once you have at least 1 penny in your budget here, you're going to be okay. So this is where we start. This is my net monthly income. Okay, monthly budget, real game, or even this one. And I have $5,139. That is my net. That's after deductions and savings. So I'm going to start with that number on my ledger, which you guys should have. That ledger there, okay, will be where I start. So on this credit and that balance, those two numbers are the same. The check number was 0657. That number comes from my paycheck, which is my check number here. Okay, so I'm going to start with that number. And it was made today. My name, because I'm paid, it's paid to me, to self, and it's a credit. There's a difference. When it's credit, that means money going into your account. When it's debit, money going out. You paid somebody. So this is subtracted. This number is added. And there's a very simple step to know. If it's debit, this number, whatever number you put here, is going to be subtracted from the running balance. If it's credit, this number will be added to the running balance. So let's say you're going to make your first paycheck, or I'm sorry, your first check, and it's going to be payable to, this is where you get your payments. Check 102 or 101, however you want to see this, whatever check number you start on. You're going to go to check 101 or 102 or 107 or wherever check you write. That's going to be from here. Okay, so these are going to be the checks you fill out to pay all your bills. So the first check is going to be made for housing costs for the amount over on the right side. The next one's going to be for transportation costs, and it's going to be for the number over on the right side. Then the other costs, your check, whatever, 104, 105, however you want to do this, okay? You're going to be making those checks. For example, here, it's going to be, let's just say, other costs, and it's going to be for that number. Do not use this number for the big check. Every single one has its own numbers. Leisure items, that number. Leisure activities, whatever number you have there. Clothing, whatever number you have there, so on and so forth. Okay? So let's practice on the very first one. Let's just say the housing costs. I'm going to make a check, and it's going to be for whatever amount you have there. So I'm going to go to my first check. I'm going to make it for 1,807 because that's what my number is. Today's date. Paid to the order of. I could make up whatever name I want. Bank of America. And it's 1,807. So no pennies. And if you want to write that line, that's fine. For housing costs. Okay, there it is. There's my first check. Second check, and that was check 104. Second check is 105. I'm going to make that for transportation. Don't mind these numbers because remember I told you they have to just match. And it's for $967.50. So paid to the order of transportation, cars or less. Make up the names. And mine was for $967.50. So 900 $1,067 and 50 cents. Line 4, card payment, John Doe. Okay, so you get the drift. Next one's going to be for other costs. That would be the 4 on my check, the amount, and you can make up the name. It doesn't matter, Visa, MasterCard, whoever you want to make it out to. The next check is going to be for leisure items and for that amount, so on and so forth. Okay, you're going to make a check for every single one of these. If for whatever reason you couldn't afford one of these, like some of you guys may be walking because you can't afford to drive, then it may be 0 because you're walking. Don't write a check for transportation costs. Skip it. Don't skip the check number. Just skip the option and go to the next check and then write down the next one. Okay? Alright, so now let's say we have that done. Next thing is you're going to go to your ledger, which is what this is. And you're going to write down the check number, check 104. Okay, remember, check 104. Check 104. And it was to Bank of America. And it was a debit because I owe. And I owed $1,807. So $1,807. I'm going to subtract that from this. Okay. So if I did a mental picture, or if I did it here, okay, then I do 2, 3, 4, carry the 1, 3, and then I have, okay, so whatever number you have there is what you work from. So the same thing here. The next one's going to be cars are less. And whatever that payment was, $967.50, so on and so forth. And that's a debit, so that gets subtracted from that. That gets subtracted from that. And then you put the new total here. Alright, so you're going to do everything here. Now, the only tricky part is that some of you guys ended up with a chance card here and here, and it was a positive number. So if this was a positive number, the check is made to you. If it was a negative number, whatever your chance was, you make it to whoever you want to make it to for whatever amount is here. So let's say it was made to me. Somebody paid me $100 for whatever I returned, and it was a reward. So I am John Doe. It was $100. And you don't need to put the cents there. And it was for a reward. And it was Jane Doe is the one that gave me the reward. Because in this world, we're acting as if somebody gave me $100. So obviously, I don't sign this. It was made to me, but somebody else signed it. It was Jane Doe. It was for a reward. And on here, if that check was 106, check paid to John Doe. I could just make a note, self, 100. Now, I'm sorry, this here needs to be put on the credit. Then you would add this from what's here, and the new number comes down here. Okay, subtraction, addition, and you add from the number up above each time, whatever number you put. All right, so that is how you end up with those numbers. Very last thing, you should end up at the very end of your check balance, your ledger. You should, whatever number you have here from this section should be the last number you end up with here. That means all your budgets and all your numbers match up. Look over this. every time to go back and review. And hope you guys are all doing well. Hope to see you guys next Monday.